Welcome to Off Your Game with Josh and Roni. Josh, how are you doing today?
I'm actually doing better now. Better now that it's Saturday and next week's a holiday. And yeah, just decompressing.
There we go. So, Josh, are you actually going to be off on the public holiday?
Probably not. Eh?
There
I'm
we
probably
go.
going to be trained again by my captors. They let me out for the morning.
And then the other good thing is that Josh has been able to sleep in a little bit, or do you wake up early again today?
I woke up early, unfortunately. I was so upset. I woke up about 7:30. Last week, Saturday, I slept until 12:10.
Oh my goodness.
It was bliss. Absolute bliss.
And you slept fine. You
I
actually
slept very well. I slept the most I've slept all year. I think I slept about 9.5 hours.
Well,
At least.
we are back today. There's no sound issues. Well, I hope there's no sound issues because we did a number of tests. We got everything ready to go. Each one has got a microphone now, for crying out loud. So we hope that. I think the only thing that could still go wrong is the webcam that can overheat for some reason. But I think we've got it, Josh. I think this is the way.
But just so everyone knows, last week we did probably what could only be described as the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts. But unfortunately, the sound stuffed up, so we couldn't put it on the web.
So
but we'll try and emulate that.
Yes. So Josh has actually got the normal, cheaper brand on his side. That thing works no matter what. It works through anything. I've got this thing that is 4 times more expensive, and this thing caused the sound problems when we did a show virtually. But I think we are there, and I think we're ready to hit the show. We've worked hard on the background things, so let's see.
We've been here all morning.
All morning. There we go. So Josh, we're not going to do slides on the actual video. However, we're going to speak from the slides that I created on my tablet. So you guys won't be able to see, but we're going to basically talk about everything.
Just listen to us.
Just listen to us. The introduction is currently taking place. Can you believe it? This is an introduction of all things. Then we're going to discuss the preseason. We're going to go into detail with that. And then hopes for the season. So that's going to be a very interesting one because I do not have any hope at this moment in time. Because
I hope that kills you, Roni.
There we go. I don't do any predictions before the end of the transfer window and before there's 10 games. But we're going to try and do something. We're going to say, we're not going to predict. We're going to have the hope for your team. What do you want your team to do? Okay, he's going to predict. There we go. Like 30 mil Rio Ferdinand that did predictions now the other day. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Man United to win the league by 10 points. No, he did say they would.
I think he got a knock on his head and you think it's circa 2008.
Yeah. Oh, just so by the way, as Alexander Zinchenko and Andrei Shevchenko having a Ukrainian charity game. And Rio Ferdinand is one of the coaches, so 30 mil Rio will be there. And then Arsene Wenger is coaching Zinchenko's team. Just remember that Zinchenko hasn't played a minute of preseason football. He's had a problem since the end of last season, and he's going to be at Stamford Bridge today, carrying on the Ukrainian flag. So in support for Ukraine, well, that's me. We try not to go too political, but we actually want to go political. That's the most important thing.
We can start talking about a lot of political stuff.
Here we go. Obviously, Josh sitting to my, whether it's my left or my right on the screen, right, left on here.
Left.
Is left. So either way, it's left. He's got a gentleman that sends him 10-minute long voice notes, probably talking about politics, but we won't get too much into that if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think gentleman is the right word.
So, Josh, just quickly...
But he might watch this, so let me not say too much.
Yeah, he's going to watch it. He's going to search you. So, Josh, before we go on with the show, what is your thoughts on pre-season in general? Just your personal opinion on pre-season. What do you take out of it? Do you watch games? Do you just look for new things, tactics, new players? What exactly do you take out of pre-season?
Personally, nothing.
Oh, my word. Well, there we go.
It's a necessary evil. Obviously, the players have to have a pre-season. It's more, for me, I look at it as a fitness, exercise, but also tactics. I suppose they're getting tactics, these nuances that change every season that new managers want to put in place, especially with Arsenal, as you were saying to me the other night. I think you've seen a big shift in certain aspects of the play.
100%.
Tell me about it.
There we go. You want me to tell you about
that?
Yeah,
tell me about what Arteta's implement.
No one knows. We so
Nobody
confused.
knows. Does he know?
He's the only one that knows.
Do the players know? Does Ben White know?
Yeah. Ben White doesn't like football, so he doesn't care. Yeah, so what Arsenal's doing is they are, the most important thing that I think they are trying to do is two things. They are wanting to create ways to attack on both sides. So Arsenal were very heavy on one of the two sides. So, for example, in a particular game, they are mostly on the Zinchenko, Xhaka, Martinelli side. And then in other games, they're mostly on the Ben White, Odegaard and Saka side.
So it wasn't a thing where the right side dominate, like in the 2000 and early 2000s team, the left side was the king and the right side was the walking stick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think it's just they want to. The first half of the season they were brilliant. Obviously, 50 points in that first half. And what happened was they had a different type of a game that no one really knew about in terms of how they attack. But what he wants to do is he wants to have a inverted on both sides. So whether that's Zinchenko and Timber playing, which I don't think will happen because of just where's the defending going to be, because you're going to put a lot of pressure on Thomas Partey and Declan Rice to defend and to assist with the two centre-backs. So that part confuses me because I'm not certain if he's going to go inverted on both sides because, like I just said, you're going to take away the attacking game of the 6 and the 8 of Arsenal if it is that you're playing inverted on both sides. Because remember, Zinchenko likes to dominate the ball and Timber also likes to dominate the ball. So who's actually going to get, So that part confuses me, and Arsenal are still struggling a bit with regards to figuring out. Now, Zinchenko's been injured, as I just said, the whole preseason, so we haven't actually had the opportunity to have both of him and Timber doing the inverted role on both sides. So the nice thing is Timber is actually a right centre back, so he can defend better than what a Zinchenko can. Okay. So that part, and then the other thing is obviously Arsenal want to have other ways to attack teams because it obviously became a little bit blunt in the second half of last season, minus the fact that they were tired and the 13 players were overplayed. Rightly or wrongly so, those 13 players got them 50 points in the first half of the season. But eventually, in the third, let's say the final quarter, which is normally by their spring. That's their spring and our, what is it? Autumn. So I think that's where. So I think those are the two things. They want to try and find different ways to beat teams, and they want to be strong at the back end. That's why they strengthened the squad. So those are two
things. With that.
Yeah, so we'll see if it works out.
Just the way I see it, if you're going to play inverted fullbacks, you got to have the DMs, if you're playing a pivot, defending. Why not just have two defenders playing as the fullbacks and two more attacking midfielders playing?
Yeah, that's the thing that makes the most sense to me. But obviously he's now trying to be smart and all that. And Pep also, when he didn't win the Champions League, tried to be too smart. So
proof is in the pudding, I guess.
Yeah, and the other thing is the players that you have there in those positions needs to do the job that he wants them to do. I personally think it's going to be difficult for them to do the job that he wants them to do. And that will lead to a possibility of dropped points, even though the start is easier than a Liverpool. I think Tottenham have a terrible start as well. So Arsenal have a very friendly fixture list to start off with, and then they've got Man United, Tottenham, and Man City in a relatively close time, but all at the Emirates Stadium. So by those games, they need to be up to speed, because if you drop that, and then you have to go away the second half of the season. So I've got my concerns. I am very happy with the squad. Let me just make that 100% clear. Very happy with the squad, but getting them integrated into this complicated system that Arteta wants to play is where you're going to drop points. I think they're strong enough to do it, but I think it's going to be tough to integrate all those changes now in a short space of time, because the league is starting next week. I'm not too fussed about the Charity Shield, because if we win, we're going to be laughed at for over-celebrating. If we lose, we lost again to Man City. So that's just my take on changes when it comes to these type of things. Let's move on to Liverpool, your side of things. So your opinion on where things stand with Liverpool.
The only thing I've noticed in pre-season, I obviously followed results. I watched the highlights of a couple of games. Leaking goals again. I mean, 4 against the German second division team, 4 against Bayern, 2 against... was it Kaiserslautern? Who was the first team?
They didn't play Kaiserslautern.
I'm
talking about
the first team they played.
The first team? Are you talking about the first team? Was it the German team?
German team, yeah.
I
Anyway,
can't remember
that team.
Let's call them that team
That
in
team,
inverted commas.
In inverted commas. Yeah, so there've been a lot of goals been leaking. They've been scoring goals, which is good to see. But again, that right side with Trent seemingly inverted, that right side seems that other teams find a way to attack Liverpool down their right hand side, which is concerning.
So who are those players on the right other than Trent? Who's all there? Is it 2 players or is it 3 players? I'm trying to think of a 4-3-3
the right-sided
system.
centre back is either Konate or Matip, and then who's ever playing midfield? I think Soboslai.
So does he play towards the right and then McAllister towards the left?
I think so. Yeah.
Or the other way around? You haven't seen enough to be able to say.
Yeah, but from the lineups, it seems like it.
It seems like it.
But neither of them are defensively. McAllister more so, I think. But I don't think Soboslai is defensively minded.
No, he's not. Neither of them are tacklers really, so that's why your 6 needs to be the tackler. And
but Liverpool don't have a 6.
They don't have a 6 at the moment. Yeah. So Lavia, who played on the bench for Southampton last night, he didn't even come on. So it's definite. It's just about the fee now, and I think Liverpool will get this done. I think Lavia will start. I don't know what number he'll be, because isn't Thiago number 6? Like his number on his back.
Possibly. Yeah. I'm not one for numbers. I know certain players' numbers, but
I'm also not big on the numbers, so that's why I just say the number 6 position is the holding position. So the old Barcelona system, the number 4 was the holding midfielder, but it seems to have changed in the modern times. So always I call whatever we call the number 6 now, I used to call the 4, I used to call the left 8 a 6. Well, not I used to, Barcelona, Johan Cruyff, the 4-3-3 formation, and then the 8 or the 10 either plays the left or the right. It all depends. But and then also, so for example, Busquets was a 4, Xavi was a 6, and 8 was Iniesta. And I think that was their numbers as well. Well, Busquets was 5 always. So yeah. But anyway, I'm confusing myself. The main thing is that are you happy with Liverpool's transfer business? So I'm going to skip from Man City to Arsenal. I'm skipping United, and I'm going to. So let's have a look at the incoming. So on my screen here, I've got pictures of 2 gentlemen smiling. Combined 90. I don't know where I got that amount from.
No, it is about
that. It is right. Yeah? Oh, it is right.
So about 95 to 98.
Yeah, so round about there. So just under 100 million on 2 players, which we mentioned has been in the midfield. They've played in pre-season.
I'm happy with those 2 players, but not happy with the fact that they're the only 2 players.
Yeah.
The other thing is, what I was going to mention was Lavia being 19.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
the other backup CDM being also 19 in Bajcetic. So that's a concern. That's a big concern, to be going into a season with 2 very inexperienced holding midfielders.
Yeah. So let's just look here. I've got the exits on here. I don't know who Leighton Clarkson is. It's Jeremy Clarkson's son.
Leighton Clarkson. I've heard of him.
Right. So James Milnerton, I call him. So the guy that's
he's actually Leighton Clarkson's dad.
Okay. So James Milner,
legitimate son.
Did James Milner play in midfield last season at all?
He did. He played games.
So I can't call him a midfielder.
Definitely played. And he came on. I'm sure he played probably 25 to 30 games
in midfield.
Not to start, but
yes. Appeared, but most of them as a right back.
No, in midfield mostly.
So so there's a midfield that's gone experienced. Still winning the fitness tests, by the way, at Brighton.
Of course.
Naby Keita has left, so Firmino he's seen as a 10 and a 9.
But he didn't play as a 10. He played as a 9.
Okay, so he doesn't count as a midfielder. Oxlade-Chamberlain, I don't think he was a
played? Midfielder, but
so he's actually so talented. Do you remember that game against Man City in the Champions League where he was so brilliant?
I do. That was the 3-0 game.
Yeah, and it was actually in that time, before and after that, where he got fit and he actually played well. Was he in midfield or where did he play?
He played in midfield. The game that killed him, the injury that killed him, was a Roma semi-final in the Champions League. He never came back from that. Obviously, he had many injuries before that, but he had played for about a year without injury. He was doing well, and then that unfortunate. I remember the running down the sideline and tackle coming in. And that was that.
And there we go. Unfortunate. Obviously, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Southampton legend, and he played for Arsenal. Thank you so much for £35 million, Liverpool. But he won the Champions League and he dedicated it to Arsenal.
Did he?
Because he said that
Because Arsenal never going to win it.
No, they will eventually win it, but it's because they beat Tottenham, and he obviously it was the whole North London thing. So he said North London is red in one of the tweets. Jordan Henderson and then Fabinho has left as well. So those are key players that has won the league, won the Champions League, won FA Cup and League Cup. So all the World Club Cup. What am I missing? The Super Cup. They beat Chelsea in the Super Cup. Charity Shield as well. There we go. The biggest trophy of them all.
League Cup. They've actually won every cup.
So they've won.
The only
all
cup
of it.
they haven't won is the Europa League and the Europa Conference League.
Yes, but they do have a silver medal in the Europa League. Am I right?
Yeah.
Both of them.
Klopp's first season. Lost to Sevilla. Everyone loses to Sevilla in the Europa League.
I actually think we watched that game together.
3-1. We didn't watch it together, but we were going.
We were messaging ourselves.
I think scored the first goal in that game, if I remember correctly. Daniel Sturridge.
Yeah.
But then Sevilla came back.
Hey, Sturridge!
Man likes Sturridge.
So, Josh, it's clear for all to see. We've had conversations that Liverpool needs 2 midfielders. Do they need 2 6s or do they need a 6 and a 8? What do they need?
Well, if they bring in Lavia, then I think they need another 6.
And an experienced one, probably. 25 to 28.
That would be a good age.
Yeah.
Someone, the player I would bite your hand off for, but it's never going to happen. As I've said many times to you, Paulinho.
Yeah,
I think Paulinho
so
would
expensive.
be perfect.
They are in such a great position that they can ask the likes of West Ham 100 million. So that's the problem with that. He's ideal. He's probably wanted. And then obviously the likes of Kimmich and Goretzka. Goretzka to a less extent. I don't think Liverpool's really.
I'd be very happy with Kimmich as well.
Yeah, Kimmich obviously, but not Goretzka because Goretzka is basically Szoboszlai, but injury. Well, they're both injury prone to be fair.
Goretzka more defensive.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a 6/ he's a 7.5. In between the 6
so
and
you
the
can
8.
maybe he's one who can play as a double 6 instead of a single 6.
Yeah, I think I don't know.
What's your opinion on thingy still available? Thuram. Kefren Thuram.
Yeah, for some reason, Don Robbie from AFTV linked Kefren to Arsenal. We are still being linked to midfielders because the whole Thomas Partey thing is not cleared up. I don't know. I haven't watched him enough. He plays for Nice, is it? So I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him. I do remember watching him play. I think it must have been at the under 21.
I think
Euros.
Nice could be Port Elizabeth's sister city.
Yes, it is. Very nice.
Or Quebec, sorry. Quebec.
Both of us have a bit of Port Elizabeth in us. I stayed there, played rugby there, and you also lived. You were born there. Oh yes, you were born there and lived there, obviously. So I don't know. It's tricky. I don't know. Obviously, you would know more when I say you know more watching fan channels related to Liverpool news or in-depth Liverpool news. Obviously, fan channels is the way to go these days due to the fact that the clubs aren't very transparent. And
I've watched quite a bit of Inside Anfield training.
Training. That's
That's
their YouTube
what the clubs
channel.
put out.
Yeah.
I watched a short clip of, which was very disappointing, Liverpool players. It was actually Konate going around asking them, do you like Oppenheimer or Barbie? And they were like, they don't know what Oppenheimer is, only Barbie. Except for Trent. Trent did say watch Oppenheimer.
Yeah, so
and
that's...
It was a good movie.
Yeah,
I haven't seen either, but I don't think 30-year-old professional footballers should be admitting to watching Barbie.
Yeah, no.
In Virgil van Dijk being case in point.
I see he's the new club captain.
He is,
Is Trent the vice captain? Did I get that right?
Good question. I'm not actually sure. I know Van Dijk is the captain.
Yeah, Trent. Yeah, I saw a picture of him being made the vice.
I would have thought Alisson would be. But
I think it's more than one. I think it's like 3 vice captains. So it's Alisson, Trent, and Salah. I think is the third one. When you go on Wikipedia, then they have captain and then vice captain. So I think they have about 3. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's just quickly go to Manchester City because they signed about 2 hours ago, confirmed the signing of I don't even know his name. It starts with a J. I think it must be
Joseph.
Joseph.
Just like the manager.
There we go. Joseph Guardiola. And
that's why I signed him.
Pep Guardiola. So it's quite
Joseph
close. So
Guardiola.
it's 90 million euros. I thought that it would be 100 million pounds to sign him. So once again, good business from Man City from a fee standpoint, because that's probably 75 million pounds. I thought he was going for 100 million pounds, not euros. So it's maybe got to do with the contract. Maybe he's in his final year of his contract or 2 years to go. But very, very highly rated defender, extremely good on the ball, extremely good one-on-one, extremely good in the air, superb defender. We obviously will see what happens in the Premier League. You've seen him for Croatia, and I'm sure you might have seen him in the Champions League. Didn't they play against Man City? Red Bull Leipzig? Red Bull Leipzig?
7-0.
Guardiola did not play, he was injured. So, once again, they just keep ticking over. They're looking at Wirtz, Florian Wirtz or something like that. I don't know if I've got the name right, from Bayer Leverkusen. Very good attacking wide player.
I've heard of him.
So him, and then they are looking, both Chelsea and Man City are looking at Eze and Olise. So
I like Eze especially.
Yeah, Eze, yeah. So I always get I don't know why I get confused. It's not the same name.
Olise is a good player.
But Eze is the one that I like. I keep getting confused between the two, but Olise is linked to Chelsea and Eze is linked to Man City.
It is more of an 8. I think Olise is more of a wide
forward, yeah. So then it must be Olise that's also linked with City then, because they want a wide forward. They don't want an 8. Kovacic, your thoughts on his signing?
Strange one. I find that he's a good player, but clearly it wasn't pulling up trees at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But under Pep, maybe we'll... I don't know. What do you think? Maybe we'll use him as a squad player?
Yeah, I think it's literally just that squad player.
I would say it's a downgrade from
definitely.
Gundogan.
No, by a country mile a downgrade. But I think they just want somebody that's good on the ball. Croatian midfielders, they're good with keeping the ball. They don't lose it that often. And also with the system that they play, John Stones constantly alongside Rodri. So that means that they need 2 players in their midfields. And I think Foden might eventually play the Gundogan role. Plus they've got De Bruyne. Plus they've got Phillips. And they're going to get more another wide forward now. Either Olise. Is it Olise or... Yeah. Who's the one that you said is wide? Olise, yeah.
Michael Olise.
Michael Olise or this guy from Leverkusen, or both. I still believe that in the future of Foden that he will be a left 8, I think. And then De Bruyne obviously can play either left 8 or the 10. So that's going to be interesting to see how they go. What would
you say? They say Rodri got injured.
Mm-hmm.
Serious injury. What do you think? I think that would be a big issue for City.
No, I don't. Because they are so... He's extremely, extremely important to them. But not like a other team, where if you take the most important number 6 out, then it's a problem. If you take Casemiro out, if you take Thomas Partey
take Liverpool's most important number 6 out, it's fine. He's got no important number 6.
Yeah, if you just think about it, they can play Kovacic, and then obviously Stones comes into midfield from his right centre-back position. And then obviously Ake is like they have a back 3. Walker, Ake. I don't know if Walker's going to go to Bayern still. Might still happen. So Guardiola's there. Laporte might go now because they got Diaz already. So it's actually interesting now with Guardiola coming in, because I think Laporte will then move on. And he was heavily linked with Arsenal for some weird reason.
I thought he was linked with Spurs.
But they're going to get this Van der Ven guy, and they won't have money after that. Well, Levy wouldn't want to spend. They're going to get 100 million from Bayern München.
Tossen.
Come again?
They're in for Tossen.
Which Tossen? the Turkish sweet.
I think it's the one from Everton, isn't it?
Oh, that one. Oh my goodness. Gee whiz. Where does he play? Up front?
No, he's a centre back.
Oh, that one. Oh no, I'm thinking of Cenk Tossen, the striker.
Not that guy. A centre back.
Are you talking about the centre back? Yeah. Okay. Oh well. Anyway, let's go to Man United. The mighty Man United once again beating Arsenal in a friendly and making like it was the World Cup that they won, and the Champions League and the World Super Club Cup. and then lost every friendly after that, including to a TV series called Wrexham.
But the team, to be fair, I read the team sheet and I've never heard of a single player. Actually, one. It was Johnny Evans was the only player.
Yeah. But then they obviously lost to Dortmund. Onana wanted to murder Harry Maguire. He did like a back pass that made Onana look like a League One player. Apparently also rejected West Ham's bid for Maguire, so it looks like they want a load of money for Maguire that no one's willing to pay other than West Ham.
Is it the fact that they rejected it because they rejected it, or because Maguire doesn't want to go?
I don't know. I think Maguire definitely wants to stay. He's on huge wages, and he's happy to be on the bench, it seems like. I think he was also linked to Everton yesterday. And Everton, they will pay a lot of money. They've got a very rich owner, so they'll pay a lot of money. That's why they're in trouble. Because of the
owner,
way.
But
yeah, very naive, yeah. So Man United's incomings, Mason Mount about 50 million, Evans free, Onana about 50 million, and then Hoyland, who hasn't been confirmed yet. He might actually have been confirmed now as we speak by now already.
Apparently he's being showed off or brought out or
paraded.
Paraded, that's the word. Tonight before they're friendly.
Yeah, they played Bilbao today. So, Man United, I think they did something similar with Casemiro last season where they showed him off in a friendly game. I think it was a friendly game at the time, or they bought him. No, they bought Casemiro when the season was...
After the season started.
Yes, yeah. And then I think he was on the bench for that Brentford 4-0 thrashing that Man United got. So let's just quickly run through any key... So Phil Jones finally, all the Man United fans are so happy about that. He's finally been... given away to the Downdraws. Axel Twansabe is also been released. Who's got Ethan Laird gone to Birmingham City. David De Gea, he's also left. He still hasn't got a club yet. So I mean, if he's that good, then a club would have gotten him immediately. And then they've got obviously Alex Telles that's gone to Al Nassr. So Telles, Ronaldo, and Mane all at Al Nassr. Gone through Liverpool already. Let's just have a look at Brighton. So the reason why I've got Brighton in here, they qualified for Europe. I've put Aston Villa in here as well. I think they also qualified for Europe.
What a name, Brodie Pearl.
A beautiful name, Brodie Pearl from
like
Basingstoke
Pearl
Town.
Strickland.
There you go. So they've gotten in João Pedro from Watford. He's a very good player. Mahmoud Dahoud, Borussia Dortmund midfielder. He was actually excellent in the back end in their title chase last season. James Milnerton, the guy from the southern suburbs of Cape Town, free transfer, the fittest guy in the world. And then they got a guy that is very, very close to my heart in terms of animation programs that came on. Bart Simpson Verbruggen from Anderlecht for 16.3 billion. I've never seen this guy play, but we know that Brighton do good business. They got Joe Belmont from Liverpool under 18, and then Basingstoke Town. So that is obviously the rugby version of Stoke City. And then they got Igor Julio from Fiorentina and Jacob Slater from Preston North End. Let's just see if there's any big deals. Obviously, they got, I don't know why it's not on here. Oh, there's it. McAllister obviously leaving for Liverpool. I can't see any other bigger names here that I can see. And then obviously who? Oh yeah, Sanchez, sorry, yes. So Sanchez also about an hour ago confirmed to Chelsea, so he will push Kepa Arrizabalaga. He will push him.
Has Mendy left?
Yeah, he has left, I was about to say. He's left to one of the teams in Saudi Arabia once again. Aston Villa, they've done good business. I've liked their business. They've got Yuri Tielemans on a free transfer. Rico Richards had a good season at West Brom last season. Pau Torres from Villarreal, a player that's been heavily linked for over £80 million to Man United 2 seasons ago, and he's gone to Aston Villa for £31.5 million. Obviously worked with Unai Emery at Villarreal, won the Europa League against Man United. And then Moussa Diaby, strongly linked for 100 million to Arsenal earlier in this window, went for 51.9 million to Leverkusen. So, any thoughts on their business?
Leverkusen.
Yeah, from Leverkusen, sorry. So, any thoughts on the transfer business? I think it's good.
Are there any outgoings?
We're going to check now. Do you rate Tielemans?
I did. Last season he didn't have a great season, but then I suppose no one had Leicester.
No one did. So Ashley Young got released to Everton. So he was first released and then he went. And then disappointingly,
Marvelous Nakamba.
Marvelous Nakamba, one of the greatest holding midfielders. He will be at Luton Town. Isn't that one of the
Premier
first?
League, yeah.
There
Premier
we go.
League.
It's Luton. And then somebody that goes by the name of Wesley. He has gone from Aston Villa to Stoke City. I really like the business they've done. I think Unai Emery is doing a great job there. It just didn't work out at Arsenal, unfortunately. I honestly like the guy, and I like the way that he speaks. And when he greets you, he always has something nice to say. It's either good afternoon or good morning. I'm not going to say the other one. Righto.
Let's talk about Tottenham.
There we go. So now we've got
like Tottenham.
Expressions Esteem. So two of the players that they have signed or players that were on loan with the obligation to buy, they obviously paid
Big Daddy Cool.
Big Daddy Cool,
Daddy
Dejan
Cool.
Kulusevski. Has Joris left yet? He hasn't left yet now, because only out is Harry Winks to Leicester City. So
He's waiting for his car to arrive because he can't drive himself to the airport.
Dejan Kulusevski in from Juventus. Obviously, he played for them. I don't know if it was a 2-year loan or a 1-year loan, and
I
then
think he's been there a year and a half.
year and a half. Yeah, he came in January.
Yeah.
So they obviously had to pay him for that extra 6 months, and and obviously they had to pay about 35 million. It was an obligation to buy after a year and a half. And then they got in Empoli's goalkeeper, Guglielmo Vicario. And then the mighty James Maddison from Leicester City. It says undisclosed, but we know that it was about 40 million, between 40 and 50 million. So quite a bit spent there to pay Sporting 34.5 million. So it's 34.5 million for Pedro Porro, 35 million for Kulusevski.
Pedro Porro is going to be a nightmare for them because he can't defend.
He can't defend, yeah. I don't know.
He's a nightmare for João Felix too, but that's for other reasons.
And then Manor Solomon, a very good player that was on loan at Fulham, but he was actually owned by Shakhtar Donetsk. So he has been not bought, it was a free transfer. So actually decent business. I like him as a player. Decent signings. They
still need defenders.
Yeah, they need defenders.
No back like Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, but who's buying Van der Ven? Yeah, so they're about to pay 50 million for Van der Ven from Wolfsburg. So he's a very good up-and-coming Dutch defender. We said that about De Ligt, and he's dipped. Obviously, Van
But
Dijk.
I know.
Stays.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. So that's any thoughts on Tottenham? Postecoglou? Do you have any thoughts on Postecoglou?
Well, I think he's an Australian.
There you go.
He seems quite bombastic.
Yeah,
it's
it's very
interesting. It's
yeah.
going to be interesting to see how it goes.
I look forward to it. I
It's
actually
going to be
think
very interesting to see what's going to happen with Harry.
Yeah, I think they'll make the top 10. I think.
Top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
if Harry goes, they might get relegated.
So obviously the big story now is Harry Kane, who's I personally would love to be a fly on the wall when Harry Kane has his German lessons. Apparently he's fluent in German.
Well, at least he's fluent in one language.
So he cannot speak English. He has a bit of a lisp, and he's got a bit of a slouchy
Most
voice.
English people have lisps.
Yeah, fair enough. I also have a bit of a lisp.
So do I.
I
I didn't open the door to my speech therapist when I was 7, so.
So how about
Hence the lisp.
one of the hardest questions to ask you, Brother Josh?
Seesaw on the seesaw.
I have a feeling, thanks to Harry Kane joining Bayern Munich, that they will not win the Bundesliga.
The jinx of that is Harry Kane.
Just imagine that. That will be the funniest thing ever.
11 seasons in a row.
He was, yeah. They will win it. He will score loads of goals.
But it's not done yet.
Oh no, sorry, it's not done yet. But I think it will happen because otherwise he's going for free to Chelsea next season, in my opinion.
I think they can pull his leg to sign another contract.
Or that too, yeah. Expressions, if you're watching, you
know.
know.
Expression watches us.
You know them way there.
You know them way there.
Here we go. Right, are we gonna just before we
back
get
from Thailand?
Yeah, I saw on his Instagram he was busy giving bananas to a elephant, and he guess what he called.
It's not a euphemism.
No, it's not no euphemism, no racism. He called the elephant Don Robbie. Can you believe it? Just due to the little bit of weight issues that Don Robbie's had, due to the type of food that he eats and the lack of exercise. He has.
I think Don Robbie exercises.
He does. He's a boxer.
Why don't they have a charity boxing match? Don Robbie against Expressions. Don Robbie has a weight advantage. Expression has youth.
And he can run away. He's quite fast as well. I think he was going to have a charity match against Saeed from Saeed
I see
TV.
that, yes.
And
Saeed again is a weight advantage.
Yes. Unfortunately, Expressions didn't make the weight, so they had to cancel that.
But
Unfortunately.
Saeed made the weight.
Yes, he made the weight. It was going to be a super heavyweight fight. Josh, Chelsea. Chelsea's been, in my opinion, impressive. I think they've done well. The types of signings that they've made is good. They are still, and they did very well with the outgoing. So, Koulibaly to Al Hilal, 17 million. Kovacic, 25 million to Man City. Mondi to Al Ahly, 16 million. Kai Havertz, where's he gone? 65 million to Arsenal. Where do Arsenal get the money? Ruben Loftus-Cheek, 15 million. That's very good amounts of money for players that doesn't bring. 55 million. Jeez,
Captain America.
There we go. How much has he gone for? 20 million. Ampadu, 7 million. Ampadu barely played for them and he can't defend. Aubameyang's wages off the wage bill.
I'm doing quick maths there.
Okay.
That's 120, 138, 193, 213. That's 220 million out.
Wow. And they're going to get new investment from the investment company of Todd Bowley, which is illegal, but no one cares. So Nicholas Jackson, no, we all care. Nicholas Jackson from Villarreal. Sorry, Josh. Sorry for interrupting.
Was it Mike? Is that Michael Jackson's son?
Yeah, Michael Jackson's son, Nicholas, from Villarreal, 32 million pounds. So a club that hasn't got much money, Villarreal, have gotten in at least about 80 million from sales so far this season. I think they sold someone to the Nigerian guy. They sold him to Milan, and then they sold Jackson to Chelsea, and they sold Pau Torres to Aston Villa. Christopher Nkunku, 52 million. So Jackson and Nkunku, they've basically been playing off each other in a 4-4-2 type of a formation, or a 3-4-1, no, 3-5-1-1.
What's happening with Lukaku?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with him. Inter and Juventus don't have money. Inter wants to bid for Arsenal's Folarin Balogun. Juventus wants to bid for Franck Kessié, Thomas Partey and Lukaku. They haven't got money. They have just been fined money they don't have for financial fair play, but they want 50 million rated Thomas Partey. They want 80 million rated Lukaku. And who's the third one? Franck Kessié, who's going to probably be a free transfer. That doesn't make sense.
Is that not Kessie?
Franck Kessié, yeah, Kessie. I call him
Isn't he going
Kessié.
to Saudi Arabia?
No, he is now. I'm just talking about, let's say, 7 days ago. 7 days ago, they were looking at all these players. So, because Franck Kessié is going to Saudi Arabia, they are looking now for someone that is 40 times more expensive than him.
How can Lukaku be rated at 80 million?
I think it's because they paid 100 and something for him, and he still has 2 years left on his contract. So I'm just rating him that. He's not worth that, but just with the market that it is. Just quickly, Diego Moreira, a very talented youngster. Angel Gabriel from Santos, talented youngster. Leslie Oguchukwu from Ren,
I would say.
Ren, not Rom. Rom is the team that Balogun played for. And then Axel Desasi for 38.6 million. So Fofana gets injured, and they buy Desasi for 38.6 million. Desasi, 7-year contract. Oguchukwu, 7-year contract. They're still doing it.
Short-term contracts.
Yeah, they want to offlay the financial.
That is outlawed.
Not allowed, and then so despite the fact that all top journalists say you're not allowed to do contracts over 5 years, they signed Sanchez 7 years, Moreira 7 years, Gabriel 8 years, Okuchukwu. So first of all, they are continuing to sign players on long contracts to overlay the financial fair play amounts over longer periods, and they are getting investment from an investment company from the investment company of the owner, which is not allowed. So, and they got 20 million fine for giving the FFP documents late. 20 million only. So there we go. So that's basically the wages of Aubameyang. And there we go. We don't going to get started on Man City, who has probably 200 different...
quadruple.
Yeah.
That's hopes. Win the quadruple.
There we go. Josh, your hopes for the season for Liverpool? The floor is yours.
Quadruple, I just said so.
Oh, there we go. So you want them to win the quadruple.
Yeah.
Are they even going to play in the League Cup?
I think so, yeah. Look, my hopes for the season, realistically...
Do you want to win the Europa League? Do you care?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
That's the one that you haven't got. So.
Exactly.
So
Well, then next season, hopefully, we can finish 7th and get into the Conference League. Oh no, if we win the Europa League, though, we'll be in the Champions League.
Yeah. So.
My hopes for the season is to be better than last season. Play
that
better
means
football.
Top 4.
Definitely.
Yeah, but you don't need to if you win the Europa League. Or do you need to?
Yeah, but regardless of, it's about challenging for
yes. Higher honours.
the league.
Mm-hmm. So you want them to
In
challenge
some
for the league.
respect.
Yes.
Maybe not. I don't see Liverpool winning the league, but
There's,
at
a,
least
there's a difference between winning and challenging.
with 10 games to go, there's still a chance.
Yes.
Let's say within 10 points.
Okay. That's fair. Wasn't that... what was the difference with 10 games to go last season?
Over 20. Well,
Okay, was that much? Oh, yeah, okay, it was that much. Okay, so cup competitions, do you want them to win or do you want them to compete?
Well, there's no point competing.
Yeah.
You either
Win
or you lose.
Or you lose. There we go. So compete in the league as long as possible to kind of be within a points touching distance.
I honestly think that if Liverpool, the owners were willing to go and sign 1. Okay, Love is probably coming in.
Okay, let's use that as a definite.
If they would sign minimum 2, 1 strong holding midfielder like Kimmich or Paulinho, and 1 strong, I would say, right-sided centre-back, someone that can play, someone like a Timber, not obviously Timber, but
It'll be tough to
who can
get
play
him.
as right-sided centre-back
Ah,
or
yeah,
as a
yeah.
right-back,
Yeah,
could cover for Trent.
and that can defend.
Exactly. Then I think Liverpool, with the attack, I think the attack is good. I think,
Definitely.
I think from what I've seen, what I've heard, Szoboszlai's got a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
I like McAllister, as you know.
Mm-hmm. Gakpo will get better.
Exactly. Gakpo,
Jeez,
Jota.
Diaz's goals. The way he's able to... Yo. So he's... Yeah, I think they're good, but I think they're going to have a problem. The midfield's going to be a problem.
Defensively,
I don't think it's even one-on-one defending that's
No,
going to be a
it's,
problem. It's
structure.
the structure of the team. So
best goalkeeper in the world, perhaps?
Allison. You think so?
Possibly. Yeah.
Wow.
Who do you think's the best goalkeeper?
David De Gea. I don't think anyone is, to be honest. Oblak dipped badly. Kepa isn't the man. that he
Kepa's
used to
never
be.
been the best goalkeeper in the world.
Ramsdale still makes mistakes, despite they had a very good season last season. Yeah, Allison and Edison, they still. Yeah, I think they're still the top 2. Allison and Edison. I can never.
I don't think
separate
Edison's
them.
as good as Allison,
Yeah, I don't know.
personally.
I don't know. I haven't got a
Fantasy
opinion on
League
who's
points
the
will
best.
tell you, because that's a be-all and end-all.
Yeah,
Do you know I won both of my Fantasy League last
That's
season? I actually made probably about 2,500 for fantasy.
is it?
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
nice lucrative.
So is that when you play on your own or what?
Yeah, I paid myself.
Well done, Josh. Let me just end off here. That's quickly because I'm getting. It's really funny now. Stomach's paining. Right, my hopes for the season for Arsenal. No one has a divine right to win anything, but Arsenal have obviously invested a lot of money in the playing squad. 2 things needs to happen, and I mentioned it at the beginning. They need to sort out this inverted roles that they are clearly trying to play, where they try to dominate with a high line. They've got fast defenders, but they are not defending properly. It started at the beginning of the year, and it's now gone into pre-season. I'm not looking at pre-season structure as the way to analyze how Arsenal will go. I am looking at 2023 as a whole, and I'm not seeing changes in the defending. So you need to be able to defend. If you want to be an inverted team, the people that is at the back needs to defend. So Saliba has looked off, Tomiyasu has looked off, and they are the best one-on-one defenders when it comes to Arsenal. So they are off. If they are off, then you've got problem with your structure, because yes, you can dominate the ball, but what's going to happen if teams are going to have two chances, one-on-one with a keeper, and they put it away, and then you have to struggle now with this type of football that you want to play, dominate, and you do score a goal or two, but then it's a 2-2 because you are not defending properly.
Seems like the anti-Mourinho football. Mourinho's whole philosophy was no mistakes.
No mistakes, defend, and then we'll nick a goal. There we go. So yeah, I want Arsenal to challenge Manchester City again. I do believe Manchester City is going to be weaker in the sense that those players that performed last year, other than De Bruyne will still perform. Haaland will still perform. They haven't got Mahrez.
Do you think Haaland will score as many goals this season as he did last season?
He'll score a lot. I don't think he'll score the exact same or more, but he will still score a lot, like more than anyone else, if I can call it that.
But unless, of course, Harry stays in the
that's the other thing. So, so Arsenal's obviously got Jesus injured now, so there's been some issues with his knee. I
believe he's out for a while.
It's according to a doctor, it could be as little as 3 weeks.
Okay.
So some people even said that he might make the Palace game,
this
which
is Dr. Alban.
Yeah, there we go. Someone that used horse steroids, eh? Remember the horse steroids? So so some people are saying he might make the squad for Crystal Palace, which is the Monday night week 2 at Selhurst Park. I don't think he'll make that game. He might be that Tottenham game possibly, or the Man United game. I don't know which one comes first. I think it's United first. So he might be back for those games, and I think that's September or October. Can't remember the fixtures out of my head now. So yeah, my hope for Arsenal is I would love to win a trophy.
If I offered you a FA Cup now, would you take it?
If we are challenging in the champion, I'm not saying win the Champions League. I'm saying get out of the group. For me, getting out of the group is important, and Arsenal will be in the second pot, which is very, very important. So you could still get a difficult team in pot 3 and pot 4 that can maybe draw at the Emirates and beat you at their ground type of a thing, and then you in Europa League next season. So get out of the group. A lot of people have said quarterfinals. I think Arsenal's not quite experienced in Europe yet to be able to do those kinds of things. So
depends on the draw in the second round.
Well, that's also another thing. So again, the defending, you need to defend better, away from home. So you have to probably play Declan Rice and Thomas Partey in deep roles, not where Declan Rice is the 8 that gets to go up and down.
The other thing is, for all teams, particularly Arsenal and I think Liverpool, is injuries.
Yeah, that's
injuries are the be all and end all. If key players get injured at the wrong time, then the season can be derailed completely.
Exactly, and that's what happened to Arsenal last season. They couldn't. They ran out of legs. Let's take away the injuries. They ran out of legs. Then they also got key injuries to Tomiyasu and Saliba, who I just said are our best one-on-one defenders, and Arsenal started shipping goals for fun in the back end of last season. They were still creating quite a bit. In 1 or 2 games after Man City overtook us, we looked a little bit blunt up front. But I would like us to do better in the cup competitions. We went out with a whimper in both we lost to Man City in the FA Cup and they went on to win. We lost to Brighton in the League Cup and they went to the semi-final. They lost on penalties to Man United in the semi-final. In the League Cup.
Was that the League Cup?
Yeah, League Cup. So I'm just saying those are the teams that knocked us out. So the winners and semi-finalists who were unlucky, and then in the Europa League, were we in the Europa League last season?
Yes.
Were we?
To Sporting.
Oh, yes, yeah, Sporting. Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was bad. And that was the home game where Saliba and Tomiyasu both got injured for the rest of the season. So, yeah, I don't know what to say. I really want us to win the league if we can, but we need to, like I said, there's quite a lot of things.
Okay, let me ask you. I know you said no predictions, but do you see Arsenal challenging to the same extent they did last season?
Yeah, no, I think they'll be better. I think they're going to be there and thereabouts.
Do you think they're going to get more than, was it 89 points last season?
I think it might have been 85 or 86, somewhere around there.
Oh, yes, it was
a bit less.
So, do you see Arsenal getting more points than they did last season?
I think they can. They're better. They got a better squad.
They've got better or else.
Yeah, they're better. Yeah, so they bought the fantastic midfielder that, if it works out, is going to be absolutely superb. But it might be a season too soon. I'm talking about Declan Rice. He's 24, youngster still. So at this moment in time, I'm still very undecided because of a very weird preseason where Arteta is trying loads of things. I just want us to see how we go for the first couple of weeks. My concern is we will drop points in winnable games in the first 6 games. That is my concern. If they get 18 points out of those 6 games, it's all winnable games. It's games we all won last season. We won all of those first 6 games last season. I think the 7th one is United, which we won as well. We lost at Old Trafford, but we beat them at the Emirates. So our first 7 games, we won all 7 games last season in the same fixtures. So we'll see how it goes. We have a better team, but it's not always just that. You need to get your structure right and all that. But I will leave it there. We will get to predictions eventually, Josh. I think we need to still let the preseason finish. I think this has been a phenomenal show. The key thing now
almost
is...
as good as the podcast we lost.
Yes. The key thing is the sound. Did the sound hold up? So I really hope it did, so that we can continue recording it this way. Brother Josh, I thank you so much for your time. It's been a good chat.
Awesome. Nice
and
to see
hopefully
you and chat.
We'll see if we can get something going next week. We will do virtual things if we can't do the shows where you come to me. But we'll try and make a Saturday available. Thank you, Brother Josh. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
Ron. Thanks, everyone.